Okay. Yep.
Beautiful. We're recording?
Yep.
Awesome. Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to be here with us. For the next 20 minutes, we're going to provide you with a roadmap, and here's our agenda for today. But first off, I wanted to take a minute and introduce our team at Underdog Cyber Defense. So, Underdog Cyber Defense is an IT service provider that specializes in cybersecurity. We help our clients to understand their hidden vulnerabilities and what is really important to them. Then we put in strategies and solutions to protect their revenue, reputation, and legacy. My name is Shilkis Lopez. I am the Growth Development Executive, and I'm responsible for educating and spreading the word about the importance of cybersecurity. My background pretty much is actually in the car business. I was in the car business myself for 5 years. I did everything all the way from BDC, ISM, all the way to finance. So that's why we're here today because I definitely understand the importance of cybersecurity when it comes to the automotive industry. To my left is Carmine Corridor, President of Underdog Cyber Defense and Chief Strategy Officer. Kelly assists with the messaging, and Carlos and Oscar handle the execution of the strategy, client care, and compliance. So, why are we here today? Which is one of the points in our agenda. I imagine that most of you are familiar with the FTC, right? I hope. Well, back in 1999, there was an act called the Graham-Leach-Bliley Act, or GLBA, that required financial institutions to regulate how financial institutions protect and regulate non-public personal information. Now, in 2021, they expanded what was considered a financial institution and among other industry that included car dealerships. And as of June of 2023, they started enforcing the regulation with fines for non-compliance. And as we had conversations with dealerships, we realized that many of them had no idea about this. Um, Now, I really want to talk about the elephant in the room. You're either a dealership that was directly affected by the CDK ransomware attack or you're concerned by it. So the cyber attack reportedly affected 15,000 dealerships out of 18,000 dealerships in the United States, which is definitely a substantial portion of the market. This led to operational problems such as not being able to manage sales, leads, service appointments, and customer records properly. Data and security risks like personal and financial information of customers and sensitive business data. And lastly, trust issues, definitely. Customers might worry about their personal data being leaked, and unfortunately, this could damage the reputation of dealerships that were affected by it. CDK definitely highlights a major blind spot in the industry. This attack is definitely a reminder for all car dealerships to prioritize cybersecurity to protect their operations and customers' data. Now, here are the questions that we're hearing after this whole thing happened. Will it happen again? How safe are we? And what can we do? By any chance, does any of those sound familiar to you guys? There is a research that says that if you are a victim of a cyber attack, the chances of it happening again are high. So most businesses will not update their security after an attack. Many cyber criminals will put in a backdoor to give them another way in, and just in case the business does not deploy updated security measures. In the case of CDK that paid $30 million, and I will say that again, $30 million, it's likely worth it for them to try again. More importantly, these criminals know how you are and they will try to attack you directly and get you to pay. Let's be honest here. How many of you have your own security in place?
Yeah, definitely something that all companies, especially the dealerships, probably need to think about at this point. In a time where data breaches are common, why should we be concerned about your customers' information being leaked, right? Think about it. Would you, as a individual, return to a dealership whose security practices allowed your information to be leaked in the first place, right? What if you were a first-time customer looking to buy a car, for the first time or whatever, and you heard of a dealership that, was part of a ransomware attack? As an individual, I have no idea what CDK is, or, if you guys were, even though you guys weren't initially the people involved in the ransomware attack, you just were a supply chain victim, so to speak. So, if I was a first time customer, what does that look like for me? Being on the outside looking in, would I trust your dealership? Right. So these are questions we got to ask ourselves. Now, on top of that, and again, with the CDK being in the rear view, how much business did you lose if you were directly affected by the CDK attack? Um, how much business did you lose over that time? How many cars could you not sell? Parts that you couldn't order to fulfill, repair requests and all that stuff. Again, this wasn't your fault, and I don't mean to bring the focus around CDK because we are talking about the FTC safeguards, but these are all things that that you kind of need to think about right now. Again, see the CDK thing brought in a huge blind spot for dealerships in general. But going back to FTC, now that the safeguard regulations are in full effect, there are fines that are going to be imposed if you don't have the proper security measures in place. And we'll talk about what those are in a few minutes. But on top of that, we're talking about reputation loss. On top of that, we're talking about operational fine losses, financial losses, like not being able to pay your employees and things like that. So, if this actually happened to your dealership directly, not through a vendor, but actually happened to your dealership directly, do you think your dealership could withstand those losses? So we really can only control what's going on in our little bubble, right? So some of the ways we can do that, let's learn about you need to learn about your risks and your vulnerabilities. You need to invest in a trusted partner, one who's responsive and reliable, professional, and has the depth of experience. Um, you need to invest in a trusted partner that provides security, has a deep understanding of how dealerships operate, and designs and implements a security in-depth solution. So, in cybersecurity, there are different teams that handle various aspects of security. The most common you'll ever hear are the blue teams and the red teams. The red teams are the team that tests your company's defenses, things like vulnerability assessments, threat hunting. The blue team are the teams that are making sure that those systems are functioning correctly by focusing on the monitoring, incident response, and data protection. So in between those two teams is purple, right? So red plus blue equals purple. You get it? Uh, so the purple team kind of combines the red team and the blue team roles. And at Underdog Cyber Defense, we adopt that purple team approach. So we play offense as well as defense when we're protecting our clients' environments. And when we combine that with our traditional IT support, we provide a very comprehensive security and support solution for our clients. So, what are the next steps? There's a lot to consider here, especially if you're hearing this for the first time. Now, you've taken the first step by showing up here today, so I congratulate you on that. On the screen here, we do have a couple of first steps that are required to be FTC Safeguard compliant. So, the first thing you need to do is you need to get, and these are inside the FTC Safeguard documentation. You need to get a risk assessment done by a qualified professional. You need to develop a written information security plan or a WISP. You need to develop and deploy security awareness training for the employees, as well as implement a risk management and ongoing management monitoring system. Now, there are some software companies out there that say they provide compliance for the dealerships, and they're more or less just a checkbox for you. Like they're not actually doing, like they may it's your discretion. You're going in and you're checking the boxes and you're saying yes or no, but there's nobody behind that that's actually monitoring that you're actually doing these things. And then on top of that, there's no ongoing monitoring. So it kind of violates one of those next steps. At any rate, we know you need to talk to the ownership, right? And we have your back. So we can come out and have that conversation with you. We can provide you with case studies and more in-depth knowledge if you need it. And if you have any questions, I encourage you to come off mute right now and type in the chat, and we can answer any questions that you have. I know this is a lot of information, and again, you're probably hearing it for the first time. So I want to thank you for coming out today. Again, I know your time is valuable, but before we end here, I just want to see if anybody else, if there's any questions out there. Uh, Shilky will be reaching back out to you to follow up. However, if you do want to take the initiative, you can reach out to us. Our information is on this slide right here. We'll be sending out the recording in case you signed up and you weren't able to make it here today. So I'm just going to check the chat real quick to see if anybody has anything out there. So I'm not seeing anything out there. So, I know this information could be overwhelming for you. And again, if you're like me, after I hear something, 5 minutes later, I'm like, oh, I should have asked that question, or I wonder about this. Again, just don't hesitate, reach out to us. Or when Shilky reaches out to you, just let her know what your questions are, and we'll be happy to answer them. So I hope you found this information useful. And if you, again, any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Thank you and have a great day.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.